Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrappmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today with a cute little block I call Little Miss Mischief. Now, before we get into the sewing and how this is all put together, yes, it looks complicated. No, it's not complicated. I want to give our shout outs. Now, I have two shout outs. These people have actually teamed up on YouTube for a lot of their videos, and they're doing really well. It's Stephen Bland, the Idiot Quilter, and Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches. Now, both of those links are going to be in the show notes below. And anybody looking for sew dates on Zoom, they hold one every Wednesday. That's right, they're every Wednesday. One of them is on with their sew date, and they have absolutely so much fun. They also host pop-up sew dates. So if you want to go sew with these people, they're there. You have to go to their YouTube channel and, see it in their subscription. I'm not posting their Zoom link. Okay? Now, so they don't know that this is coming. I think they do know it's coming, but they're not sure when. So, you know the drill. If you go over there and you like what you see, either with Stephen Bland's channel or Stephanie's channel, then you click like and you tell them that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrappmore sent you. Now, the other thing you're going to find in their show notes, besides those two links for their YouTube channels, you're going to find our Facebook group, which is growing rapidly. We're having lots of fun. We're sharing pictures, fabric swaps, oh my goodness, and a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week sewing room, virtual sewing room, where people meet and they just have a lot of fun. Now, the other thing is our Zoom sew date that we hold monthly. I do not have the energy to hold a month or a weekly sew date, so we do ours monthly, and usually it's the first Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm either in Alberta or Arizona. So it's lots of fun. Share, like, and subscribe. You would really help us out if you would make a comment. If you're too busy to make a comment, at least send a heart or a thumbs up, because that will help our analytics and push our video forward. So, come on in, let's get to this sewing. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine, and this is Little Miss Mischief. Now, I had different prints that are tilde prints, and I was kind of like, okay, let's play around with them. Now, I played a long time with this block to get the right coloring, because you need a dark, a medium, and a light. So you need the medium and the dark to contrast, as well as the mediums to the light, had to contrast. Now, we'll see how this goes. Now, this is basically a variation of a sawtooth star, right? Because you've got the sawtooth silhouette here, but we build it differently, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the hardest parts first. So we'll work with this rail subunit first, and we'll get all of that sewing done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this. Now, I have pressed them open because this is a little bit bigger than I normally go to. And we're doing this by flip and stitch. That's why it's so easy. We decided, okay, let's do a flip and stitch method. And all then I have to worry about is making sure I have enough fabric to do the fold of the cloth, right? So, okay, then we'll move around as we go, because that's making it easier. So these gray ones, these gray flipping, the triangles that are flipped and stitched, right? You're doing them in mirrors, right? You want to give, like on a sawtooth star, you have the flying goose unit that sits along the block, right? Or along the square. Well, I decided I wanted to play. And okay, so we do this. And we make all sorts of other little things. And the sawtooth star might be a good case study for us to do, but we'll see. We'll see how this works. A lot of people don't like making flying geese, but this is a quick way of doing it. Okay. Okay. And, all right. One more set after this. Oh, I'm so glad the sewing machine is back from the spa. Oh, I missed it so much. It is so much quieter now, and it's just beautiful to sew with. The Baby Lock Zest, like I say, is You know, it wasn't a high-end baby lock, but I just got frustrated quickly because the plate is not level with with the, the sewing plate is not level with the sewing machine. There's a gap, so everything you sew has to climb over that gap, which is kind of a pain to do. I'm just gonna flip this around so I had nice neat. There we go. Okay, so get my leader ender off. I probably don't need it. So I'm going to cut these off 2 at a time because I want to keep them in pairs. Right? Now, the gold, so here we're going to do this. All right, so the gold here, yes, I have good coverage, and yes, I have good coverage. So what I'm going to do, now somebody said I could run them through right away, and I thought, yeah, I could. But I haven't decided whether I'm going to make pinwheels out of these yet or not. I have a smaller paper piecing project that I would like to do. So now, what you're going to do is you're going to press this one under, like this. Right? So you're pressing towards the dark, but this one you're pressing towards the gray, which is your dark on that one. Right? So now they're going to nest. That point will nest and you end up with a very sharp line. And that's going to help with all sorts of things. It helps with lining up stuff. It helps everything. So let's just put that under. And let's grab the next one. And keep them in pairs. Okay. One side. Okay. And the other side. Yeah, everything matches. I get good coverage. Never cut but until you check. I have done that so many times. And then I go, oh, that was a bad idea. So that's one side. And this is the other side. Now, I'm going to take this one. Now, it looks like it's pressed that way, but I'm just going to take it. And I'm going to press it the opposite direction. So now, this is pressed to the dark. And they're going to nest at that point, and you'll have it beautifully sewn together. Okay, get all that lined up. Yeah, you're gonna do these 4 times. So that's, I guess that would be the hardest part of this block, but it's not really hard. It's not a hard block. And you can play around with the colors too on this. Oops, that goes that way. That goes that way. Here we go. Okay. Good coverage on both. And like I say, I ironed them in place. I ironed a crease so I had a line. These are 2.5-inch squares. And sometimes I prefer to have a line. You know, you can either draw a line with a pencil, or you can draw it like that, you know, or you can crease it like with an iron. I don't, when it's a 2.5-inch span, I don't guess. I don't take my best shot. I need something to help me, and that's okay. And actually, if you were doing a whole stack of this, you could do like an entire quilt of this. There we go. Now that works. They will all work. Yeah, you could do an entire stack of these just by, you know, chain piecing all, you know, all the one thing, right? So, I mean, oops, let's get this the right way so it nests nice. Okay, now, this is the other thing too. This is a directional print, this gold print. And I decided to make sure all the goals were going in the same direction. So it makes it look, it gives it an illusion of spinning. Okay, so let's get this off now. All right. Now, see, that's what you got. So there, right, like that. There. Oops, let's pull this forward over here. There we go. And I'm going to run something through here just to move it out. Move it out of the way. Now, the next block is kind of a variation of birds in the air. So we're going to do this part of the block first, because that's, actually the hardest. So you're going to put this down and you're going to line up. Okay. You're going to line them all up the same. You want that gray to be on top. Now I cut these with the easy angle triangle. But I did give you the cutting instructions for the traditional method of doing this. So just so you know that, right? I mean, if you wanted to use your easy angle triangle, it's a 2.5-inch triangle. So that I thought, well, we'll do it that way. Here we go. We'll take this, move it like this, and there we go. Just run it under. Now, okay. So now I have all of them, including a little triangle here that's already sewn. And we're just going to run that through, just like so. And now we're going to put the next triangle on, just so we end up with a larger triangle, right? Okay, so the first thing we got to do is press to the dark. So we want to press like this. We want to fold this up and out of the way. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now when we're doing the next piece, we're going to lay it like this, and then we're going to fold over like that and run it through. Keeping a really good 1/4 inch. Okay. There, just like that. And you lay it over. And you put it down and under the sewing machine. Ugh, come on. There we go. Now, there we go, like that. Like that. And we're almost all the way done already. Wow, that didn't take long. Yeah. See, if you were doing this a traditional way, you would have a little end on that side. And all it is I've removed the dog ear. That's all I've done, is remove the dog ear on the other side with that easy angle ruler. So, okay, let's get that one. Okay, we'll run this one under. Okay. All right, now, so you got 4 of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them back. And with this, I just press to the light, because I don't want bulk right here. And if I press to the dark, I'm going to end up with lots of bulk, right? So now I'm going to put all these back so I don't get confused as to what goes with where. Okay, so now this is, you take all these larger white ones off. I'll show you why you take them off, because now they're easier. We'll just put them to the side for now. And we're just going to put these, okay. I'm going to switch feet. I'm on my other foot. I don't know why I'm using this foot, but, oh, I know why I'm using this foot. Never mind. I'll just, now, oops, and I'm doing it backwards because I cannot see my point where I have to meet. Ugh. Okay, for the next one, I'll sew it right. Wasn't too much of a hurry. So if you want to see your point, when you lay them up like this and you line it all up, you want to sew from this side. This side, you see where that X is, and I'll just quickly draw the X. Oh, wait, I'll draw the X with a pencil. You have a better chance of seeing it. There's the X. Okay, there's the X. And you want to stay on your thread to stay on this side. Okay, so you don't want to cut off your point. So we'll see how bad the other one is And this way too, if you're going to miss your point, you only steer a little bit, you know? Like, don't be afraid to steer to make this happen. Well, let's see what this one looks like. See if I have to take it apart to get my point back. No, that's pretty, oh, that's pretty good. That one worked. Okay, so now I'm pressing to the dark and putting this down just like so. Okay, grab another one. Line it up, ding dong. Okay. I'm gonna run it through. And where that line X is, you can see it on the side, and you want, like I say, you need to stay on this side of your thread. That way you're not cutting off that point, and you end up with a beautiful sharp point. Okay. Okay, here we go now. There we go. Okay. All right. I'm just going to run another. I'm going to run another leader ender through. There. And you can see, because I know I'm able to see where my point is, this is where what happens. I haven't cut the end of my point off, right? So now these are going to finish at 4.5. All this little subunit here, you know, so we're almost ready to do this. Okay. And now press one more. Now, I decided I was going to play with this because this starts looking really dark. Right? I found it looked really dark. So I decided, okay, if I play with this, I could put another flip and stitch here and it would be lovely. Now I used a 3.5 inch, because this is a 4.5 inch square. I used a 3.5 inch triangle. So now I'm just going to do another stitch and flip, but I am going to sew these so they're not going to be wasted. And there we go. There we go. Okay. There. And you want to stay, it's just a larger flip and stitch. That's it. So all we got to do is just a larger flip and stitch. And now all of a sudden we have lightness, airiness in the block, which will help get rid of that heavy look, right? Okay. And last one. Here. Here we go. Last one. Now again, because these are flip and stitch, you got to check and make sure that, you know, you've done the right size, you know, that it's going to fit. Yes, it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip this with the world's tiniest scissor. The world's tiniest scissor. And right away, I'm going to sew it. I'm just going to sew it and get it ready and get it out of here. There. So now we have a 4.5 inch block that is a little more complicated than the traditional birds in the air, right? Because that's what it looks like, but it'll be fun. Okay, now I'm just going to get the rest of these off of here and make sure, check that everything is worked out great. Yes, it has. So I should change my foot. Hang on. I'm going to change the foot on this sewing machine. So I have a really good 1/4 inch foot that I really like. It doesn't wobble. And it's just easy enough to do. There we go. Get that off. I'll put that. You had to have a video where you had to show, you know, like changing your foot. Of course. Of course. Otherwise it wouldn't work. It wouldn't be my channel. You know. So these ones are bigger, and I will save them and either make hourglass blocks out of them or pinwheels or something. just to have, pinwheels are easiest for me to make. So there we go. We got another one. And here, can you see what's going on? Yeah, all right, good. I haven't taken it too far away. Everything works out good. Okay, I'm gonna put that down. And of course it fell apart. Now there's people that sew them while they're still attached. They sew the second line down. Like, they would take this, check it, and then turn it around before and then cut. But I always find I don't leave enough 1/4 inch seam in between, so that I don't do. So I mean, that's the way it is, right? That's the way I sew, I guess. I just don't leave a big enough 1/4 inch seam. So now I've shorted then both blocks, either the bonus triangle or the block I flipped and stitched. Okay, so now we're gonna web it together and see what it looks like. Oops, let's get that dog ear off. Okay, and the dog ear off here. Okay, let's get this. There. I forgot to get the dog ears off. Oh well. Okay. Yeah. Now, you can either, on these, you can press these open, right? I mean, if you want to, and then you distribute the bulk differently in the block. I'm just going to finger press mine open for now. There. There we go. And I'm going to get rid of that dog ear before I sew it into something. And I have all these little ones, so I can just sew them together. Okay. Now. Okay, so now I'm going to move to the next row. And I'm going to check where I had a blind seam. Now that's probably why, the best reason why you'd want to press these open, because then you kind of get a better idea as to where that seam is, because you can see it where the gray is. That's where your point is, right? So let's put that all down again. Let's get rid of that dog ear here and the dog ear here. Okay, now let's start to sew. Oops. And you just line it up. Take your time lining stuff up and making it happen, you know. This isn't a race. Okay. And yeah, like so. And now we go the other way, just as soon as I get this off. All right. Okay, now, because we started out missing a seam because we had this facing down the wrong way. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't miss these. So we're going to press these open like so, just with our fingernail, and line up the edge, get that under. Okay, now, because I want to see where I'm nesting, I clip those web strings, those webbing threads. And I make sure I know exactly where I'm nesting. And I can hold on to that nest then and be quite confident that it's going to meet and make a lovely joint. Now, I'm going to do this again. Here we go. And we're there. You only have to be like one needle over, so as soon as you're over that, you can reline up the next one. And somebody was asking me, well, you're going through all the trouble of webbing and then you're cutting everything open. Well, because I can't see what I'm doing really well because it's there's too much stuff in the way, you know? You know, that little thread, chain piecing thread was like a 1/4 of an inch. Now, you want to flip this so you can see that point, right? So you don't want to do a bunch of blind seams, right? Okay. Now we line this up. And there we go. And trim away all those extra bits. And there we go. There. And there. Oops. Okay, get that nested really well. There we go. Nice. And we're going to run through this just to make sure that you guys see what I'm talking about. Now, I lay all my pinwheels out the same way. So I press to the dark. Geez, that's pretty. The gold handled scissor matches, the handled scissor matches the gold in the block. So then I just trim off my dog ears. And you can trim down a bit if you need to. That's okay. I prefer to do it that way a little bit, and then I know it's done. Okay, and last but not least, okay, now, I always lay them out like this. There. And that way, all of the seams now are going the same direction. Now, I make sure I nest this point because that's the center point. Because sometimes when you're doing these bonus triangles, not all of your blocks are the same size. So you can sew them together. Just make sure you're nesting on your pinwheels with the point in the middle. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to show you the back of this. Because this is, you know, I'm just finger pressing all of this stuff in place so far, right? Okay. Now, yeah, you're going to continue to finger press this so that this center seam lays flat. And you're going to sit there, okay, and you're going to make some decisions. Okay, there's less resistance for this seam to go in. So that's probably another one to make it go flatter, right? But you'd have to give this thing a really good press. Now I'm just going to finish up this bigger thing, and we'll get to our ta-da moment. So here's our big ta-da moment. This one lies really flat with those center ones pressed open. I did twist a couple of seams, but I'm going to clip them and make them lie as flat as possible in the block. I'm not going to undo my sewing. I'm just going to try and work with what I've got. Now this one did come together. It's a little fiddly, but it would work so well with a whole bunch of different scraps and colorways, and you could have a lot of fun playing with dark, mediums, and lights with this. So I hope you give this one a try. Now these are, I just pressed these pinwheel blocks that I made, but you could put these pinwheels in as a border. You know, you trim them all up and you put them in as a border. They would look great. You'd have a lot of fun with them. And you could mix up all the colors again, right? So it would be fun to have this as a quilt. Now, I did use directional print. So my directional print goes this way to give an illusion of movement, right? So it makes your eye kind of travel around to see all this. So I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week ahead and life goes great for you in your sewing room as well. Okay, you take care until we meet again. All right, bye. My husband and I would love to thank you for watching our videos and being part of our Facebook group and coming to our Zoom meetings. It's been so much fun on this little adventure that we've been on YouTube. I just want to we are doing Zoom sew dates still coming up and those dates are going to be listed in the show notes of this video for the next year. We're making that commitment to you, and we're having a lot of fun with those Zoom sew dates. So please, feel free to come in. Even if you're not a quilter and you just want to come and do some crocheting or knitting or whatever, yeah, come on down. We're good. The other thing is I still am doing speaking engagements for the quilt gills just to help them out to get back on their feet. I am doing only Zoom meetings, and I have a PowerPoint presentation that talks about all the free patterns that we have put out and will be putting out to the world. So they're more than welcome to take any of my patterns and use them for their charity quilts, right? So that's kind of important that they know that we're there. So if you are part of a guild, let your programs person know that we're speaking for free over Zoom only. We're not doing any traveling or anything like that. The other thing that I want to let you know is that we do in our Facebook group, everybody's sharing pictures and having fun and asking questions, and it's a hoot. And we do still have the room feature in Facebook that we can go sew within. My admin person, Kathy, was able to set that up. It's no longer called Brenda's room, it's called Kathy's room, but we got a room. We do have a room working, so we're all happy with that. So if you get the opportunity to come join us on Facebook, that's great. We'd love to have you. So until we meet again, I hope you and your family have an absolutely amazing weeks ahead, okay? You take care. All right, bye.